So, one of the videos I did yesterday, or uploaded yesterday, was basically a response to a post that Alex Six, just Alex, here on YouTube, or Alex's World on Twitter/x.com and Facebook and so on, that he put up. And basically, he talked about how, essentially, it's ultimately up to Mercedes, and where she wants to go, where she's going to be happy and everything from a match perspective, like competition, storylines, and all that, as well as maybe financially, and stuff, and everything. Like basically, what is the best fit for her? And all I guess you could say premise right now, all logical premise, pretty much points in her going back to WWE and they re-debuting at the Royal Rumble during the Women's Royal Rumble match. And the fact that they have pretty much a good storyline set up for her to return to be at the aid of Bayley once, the damage control thing comes to an end for her. But, then again, you have fans thinking that she's more suited for AEW because she'd have first year opponents, she'd be able to, be herself in a way. But the way things are going for the women's division, even though you're seeing slight signs here and there of maybe that getting back to what it should be, those slight signs are far and few in between of what the women's division was originally. But then, you have Scott D'Amore this past week coming out and saying, in an interview on Busted Open Radio, that they are going to sign one of the biggest signings in the company's history, TNA/Impact combined, at Hard to Kill. They're going to debut one of the biggest signings. So basically, in the process of finalizing that possibility for Hard to Kill. And today, believe it or not, marks the 90 days for a lot of these men and women that were released from WWE and even pretty much fired from WWE, if you will, because of reasons, backstage reasons and stuff. And a lot of them are free to sign now with anybody they want, and thus appear, with anybody they want, which is definitely going to get, which is definitely going to get a lot of people to tune in on pay-per-view, believe it or not, to see who debuts at World's End, to see if one of the new debuters is going to be revealed as the devil behind the devil mask, and maybe the henchmen or hench people are going to be revealed as debuting stars as well. It opens the door for that. It opens the door for that, and that also, in a way, would help move more ticket sales for that event. But be that as it may, you have D'Amore coming out and saying that they're going to be debuting one of the biggest signings, if not the biggest signing in company history in quite some time at Hard to Kill. And some of these names got brought up, like Dolph Ziggler, aka Nick Nemeth, Mustafa Ali, and so on. But the one that has risen above them all, to qualify as one of the biggest names in company history that they will sign, is Mercedes. And a lot of people feel that, a lot of people feel that with all due respect to Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali, those other talents that got released, like Matt Riddle as well, that, with all due respect to them, Mercedes is pretty much, a bigger name than all of those combined. Now, there are hints in there that some people will point out, like it'll blow your socks off and everything, or blow your shoes off, and people look at that and say, oh, it's got to be Matt Riddle. Some would say, well, maybe it's Dolph Ziggler, because he would, his nickname is, or Dolph Nemeth, or whatever he goes by, would fit that bill, for TNA, be able to, be able to be at the forefront of the rebirth, the resurrection of total nonstop action. And that might be true too. But again, when you compare it to, to names from a, from a revenue standpoint, from a, headlining standpoint and everything, that you want to, associate with biggest signings, if you will, then there's no other bigger signing than Mercedes. Mercedes would definitely fit that bill, and it would allow her to work once again with Trinity Fatu. The only question is we don't know. The only question is we have no idea how long Trinity's contract is going to last. For all we know, her contract could come to an end after Hard to Kill, after her match with Jordan Grace. We're not really sure, but whatever the case may be, it would, open up new possibilities for Mercedes because she can be herself, and there's no doubt she'd be shot straight to the top of the women's division as knockouts division, I should say. She'd be shot straight to the top of the knockouts division, as well as the fact that she'd be shot straight to the top as being one of the primary faces to focus on during the relaunch, the resurrection, as I put it, of of TNA. She'd be one of the faces you could spotlight. But, will it be a good fit for her? Will they be able to give her what she wants money wise? And that's where a lot of people are like, yeah, she does fit that bill as biggest signing and everything. And, you have Scott D'Amore kind of joking about her name and calling her Nene and stuff like that. And, it just makes you wonder. It's like, okay, she fits the bill of what he's talking about, but is she that signing? Because again, you look at when he mentions it'll blow your shoes off or blow your socks off. It's like, that's so you could associate that with Matt Riddle, But then again, you look at someone like Dolph Ziggler, who's been world champion, and pretty much is a big name, and unlike Mercedes, was with WWE for almost 20 years, guys. That's a long. I wouldn't say 20 years. I would say what was it like 13 years, almost 15 years. Well, actually, he was part of the Spirit Squad and everything. So yeah, about almost 15 years, almost like a little over half a decade, 15 years, almost 20 years. So he would be a pretty massive name just by that reputation of, hey, he was with this company for almost 2 decades, and he was pretty much given a chance to go out there and do his thing. He's won multiple championships from the world title to the U.S., the Intercontinental Tag. So obviously it would make more sense. Oh, it would make, I wouldn't say more sense, but it would make sense as a big name value, biggest signing value, if he was the one they brought in. Because all due respect to someone like Heath Slater and everything, Heath is a big name out of that company, but he doesn't have the accolades that Dolph does. So we'll have to see exactly who lives up to that signing. But right now, a lot of people feel that the only person that matches, and I was just, checking something there. The only person that matches those qualifications of what Scott D'Amore said of biggest signing in company history, both TNA/Impact combined, is Mercedes. A lot of people feel she fits that bill. And again, she could be someone that not only gets shot up straight to the top of the knockouts division, is made one of the main faces of that division, but she can also be focused on as one of the main faces of the resurrection of TNA. So we'll see. And if it does end up to be her, then we know she's not showing up at the Rumble. But we'll see. We'll see who it could be. Who do you think it's going to be? Let me know, and I'll talk to you later.